High volume, low volume, 2 days a week, 7 days a week. Train for 2 hours, 1 hour. Bro split. Every single body part, each and every time. All you need to do is go to the gym, literally show the hell up and try. Coach Greg, in today's video, unfortunately, I have to tell you this. Building muscle, it really is that simple. It's way more simple than you think. I don't care how many YouTubers you've watched, how many Mr. Mike videos that you've seen.
Get off me, coach.
Watching a guy, his actual name is Average to Jacked, and he's got a video talking about how building muscle, it's so easy, and all of you are confused. Is this Alex Eubanks' older brother? I mean, these guys, they look very much alike.
And this is where I want to introduce the power of the microplate. If we know progression is what drives growth, then it only makes sense to make progression as sustainable as possible.
All right, and so he's saying the reason why you're not getting jacked is because you don't use the 2.5 pound plates. Those are not microplates. Microplates are the ones that I purchased back when I was a teenager. They weighed 1 pound each. And frankly, microplates, you consider them collars. When I used to set PRs in the bench press, I used to just add on 1 pound on each side, or perhaps a collar on each side to make it 1 pound. I would set PRs all the time. I had great joy in setting personal records, and by making incremental improvements, small improvements that over the course of weeks, months, years, decades add up to quite a lot. And so he's suggesting that if you just add on 2.5 pounds on each side to the bar every time you go to the gym, or if you add a rep every time, then that is all you need. I'm going to tell you that that is way more than you need. Every time you're going to go to the gym, you're not going to get stronger. Maybe for the first 3 months when you're a newbie gains, your muscles are fresh, coming back from an injury, a layoff, from being sick, or perhaps when you're using performance-enhancing drugs. But you can't expect to always get better. And so this is my advice. You try. You go to the gym and you try to lift as many reps as you can. You try to lift as heavy as you can for said reps. You're not going to get improvements every single time, but you try. Every time you try to outbeat your last workout. And when you don't, that's okay. Not all the time are you going to have the energy. You're perhaps going to be tired, fatigued, hungover, overtrained, underfed, on a diet, stressed out, whatever. Your form is going to change. Some people's form is going to be more strict on one day, a bit sloppier on another. And so the stricter your form, the weaker you're going to be. But it doesn't matter. All that matters is your effort. It comes down to train harder than last time. I mean, where have I ever heard that slogan? It sounds familiar. Wait a minute. Harder than last time. Perhaps this is your first video, and what I've been telling people for years is the only thing you need to go to do when you're in the gym is to train harder than you did before. You push yourself. You try. In comparison to everyone else, most people, they train like pussies. And what do I mean by pussies? I mean, they're training like pussies. You know what it means. You don't need an explanation. And so rather than training like a pussy, train like you actually want it. Train like you're an athlete. When other people watch you train, they should be envious. They should admire. This guy, man, he really pushes himself. If you train like that, you can and will change your physique.
So if there was one single thing you guys were to take away from my channel, it's this. Progression is the key to growth.
Progression. Train harder than last time. Some people call it progressive overload, and they want to make a science-based lifting apps. They want to make a renaissance periodization, that you have to do this and you have to do that. You have to count every pound, every rep, half rep, quarter rep. You need to do it exactly this way. You need to have a reload, a download, a deload, upload. It's not needed. All you need to do is go to the gym, literally show the hell up and try. It's that simple. No matter how good your training is, no matter how different it is, high volume, low volume, 2 days a week, 7 days a week, train for 2 hours, 1 hour, bro split, every single body part, each and every time. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We've seen Mr. Olympia champions training in every which way. Guys who are more jacked than you could ever imagine, training the exact opposite of what science-based lifting is going to tell you. But what they all have in common is they're consistent and they've been progressing for years. And how? By trying. They're pushing themselves. If they're not going to failure, they're doing more volume. If they're going to failure at every set, they don't need to do as many sets. But they're literally challenging their muscles, and with that stimulus, your muscle is going to grow. And so you don't need to read 15,000 books. You don't need a master's in exercise physiology like Coach Greg, or you don't need to write a PhD thesis with over 300 mistakes like Mr. Mike in order to know how to train.
When you're new to lifting, your strength and muscle come super quick. But what I can promise you is this is going to slow down. And when it slows down and you start to stall, that's when you reach that plateau.
And you know what happens when you get to that plateau, when you stall? You end up doing like Alex Eubank or Hamza or you name it. People end up hopping on, whether it's TRT or blasting. People are so impatient because when they first go to the gym, it's addictive because your improvements, they come so easy. You literally show up and do anything and you make improvements. You get stronger, you get bigger, and that is a lot of fun. And so when the fun slows down, the gym is not as fun as it once was. And so people look for a different way, a way to increase their gains. They're thinking, oh, well, if I just double up on my protein, if I do this bro split, if I buy Coach Greg and Eric Janicki's Sculpt app, which you can buy by clicking the link in the description, or if you get your blood work done from Algorex, you discover which hormones are missing, what do you need? Do you need a GLP and clomiphene? What peptide is beneficial? Or perhaps you aren't on Turk Builder Max, and so you go to HDLT supplements and you purchase the supplements, and that's going to improve you. Yeah, that can help, but are you in fact training hard? Like, are you pushing yourself? Are you just kind of going there, looking around, checking out the girls, the guys, whatever you're into, and going through the motions? Because if you don't push yourself, eventually the gains are going to stop. If you continue to progressive overload by simply trying, it's not some magic formula where it's you did 100 pounds for 10 reps and this week you got to do 100 pounds for 11. You just got to go there and push as hard as you can. Whether it was more weight or more reps than last time, it's irrelevant because the next time you're going to do the same. And the next, the same again. You're going to continuously try to improve. It might take you a month. It might take you 6 weeks to improve 1 rep on your bench press. Doesn't mean that you're failing. You try. Perhaps for 6 weeks you bench press less. Maybe you went on a diet, a cut, a mini cut, a long cut. Maybe you were sick, or maybe you're just overtrained, but eventually you are going to improve.
And this is where I want to introduce the power of the microplate.
I mean, if you want to add on the 2.5 pound plates and you feel like that's going to make or break your training, my personal opinion, it's going to do absolutely nothing. You don't need to add 2.5 pound plates to the bar. You could actually just do 1/4 rep more. You could pause the weight on your chest. You could slow down the eccentric. You don't need a microplate. And this is when a microplate can actually be negative. If you add on this microplate and you change up your form, because trust me, if you have to get 10 reps, it's on your program, it's on your app, and it's 100 pounds. And you're thinking 10, okay? Bicep curls, 100 pounds for 10. Last week it was 95. This week's 100, microplate. You put on 100, and by rep 6 in your brain, it registers, I probably can't get 10. I'm probably going to get 9. And so what you do is you start to cheat a little bit. We call it you add in some body English. You're swinging the rate. You're perhaps not going all the way down. You're not contracting the bicep as much as you should. And so you do find a way to get 10. The body, it knows. Trust me, I've done the same thing growing up. And so now you've got 10. Hey, add on another microplate. Next time, let's do 105. At rep 5, you're thinking, well, geez, how am I getting 10? Your body, it finds a way until it can't. You're at 110 pounds, you can't do it, and you're frustrated. Oh, I can't get any stronger. I don't know what to do. I need steroids. That happens to so many people. They get discouraged and their form, it deteriorates. They perhaps learned how to properly execute lifting technique when they first began, but eventually it becomes sloppy and they're ego lifting in the gym. We've seen it amongst everyone. Sam Sulek, perhaps one of the most famous, was ego lifting in the gym. Hey, guys, lift more weight. But now that he's older, he realizes, I don't need to do that. He also realized I don't need to bulk so much. I don't need all that chocolate milk. And so growing up is realizing that Coach Greg was right all along. When you're first into the gym, you're thinking, this guy sounds like the screaming parrot from Aladdin. I don't like his content. But then after watching 10, 20, or perhaps 3,000 or more videos, you think, you know what, he actually makes a lot of sense. And so the same can be applied with this video. By the end of this video, my goal is simply this. Aside from buying Turk Builder Max to make Coach Greg richer than last time, or to get my cookbook, I want you to realize that the only thing you need to do is go to the gym and really push yourself with, regardless of the training program that you have. The only thing that really matters is that you try.
The goal isn't to make the biggest jump as possible. The goal is to make the smallest jump possible while still progressing.
And so Gress mentioned, and so the smallest way to progress is not with micro Ps of 2.5 pounds. That is ridiculous. Those are huge. Think of it. Going up by 5 pounds when it's 100 is 5%. How many people are going up by 5% whenever they're going to the gym? This is impossible. This is ridiculous. Even 1%, 1 pound, even that is ridiculous. And so you don't need to try to lift more weight every single time. You just need to try harder. It's not the weight, the reps, none of that stuff. It's the intrinsic feeling that you get from really pushing yourself. I mean, if you're racing on a bike and you can't see your heart rate, you can't see your watch, you don't know the power that you're doing. How would you know if you're progressing? You're just riding a bike, eyes closed. You just go as hard as you can. Perhaps you're trying to improve your 1 minute power. You race as hard as you can for a minute. Do you need to see that you did 700 watts and today it's 705? Do you need to see that your heart rate was 170 and today it's 171? No, you just go and you give it your all. The same applies when you go to the gym.
Adding 1 or 2 pounds to each side of the bar is not going to seem like much, or maybe it's even just 1 extra rep. But those small improvements, they're going to stack on top of each other month after month and year after year.
Adding 1 rep or a microplate, which is 5 pounds, that is a small improvement. That is huge. Huge. I'm telling you, you don't need to worry about making massive improvements. The smallest improvements, you don't even need to track that. I know we all want to track things, and even I, of course, I have a Sculpt app to try to help you, but you don't even need it. What you need is yourself trying. And so I feel like this is back down to a Mr. Dress Up or Sesame Street commercial. You just need to try. The key word of the day is try. Try. Try harder than last time. If you try in the gym, you will get results. If you try in the kitchen, you will get results. If you try doing cardio, you will get results. If you try in your relationship, in studying, at your job, you will get results. If you do not, if you check out, if you don't care, if you don't put in the effort, it's going to go in the wayside. And so, why not just try? You know, it really is that easy. You want to lose weight? Well, try to lose weight. Do you really need to track all of your calories? Do you need to weigh every gram of food? Or do you just need to eat less? Try eating less. What's that look like? Less food than yesterday. Well, I didn't weigh my food. Well, just eat less. So, how is this complicated? Eat less. If your weight went down week by week, month by month, whatever, you tried hard enough and it worked. And if it didn't, you didn't try hard enough and it didn't work, and so try harder. That is how simple losing weight and putting muscle on and getting better at cardio it actually is.
I'm going to aim for 8 and then 9 and then eventually 10. Once I hit the top of my rep range, I add the smallest amount of weight possible.
I mean, he's probably not all that good in math. I was, in fact, a math teacher. And so the smallest weight that you can add, it's not 2.5 pounds on each side. You can actually buy real microplates, which actually add 1 pound. Or you can add on collars. You should have seen Coach Greg back in the day with 3 collars on each side trying to bench press exactly 293 pounds. This happened all the time. I had multiple collars breaking PRs by 1 pound.
So summing this video up, if you don't own microplates or if you don't have them in the gym, go on Amazon and spend like $10 and get yourself some microplates.
And so you can save yourself the $10 and you can just use collars that you already have and you add them on. And then if you have more than 1 collar, you add on another set. That is actually adding micro plates to the bar. 2.5 pounds on each side, especially. It's actually a lot of weight. And so go give Average to Jacked a follow. He's condensed this into 5 minutes. Watch some of his videos. They actually make sense. He explains different ways to train. I feel like he's probably natural. We'll never really know. But hey, he has a great physique. He speaks simply. He understands what he's talking about. go and check them out. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo. Of course, the algo, it stands for Algo RX, where you can get your favorite peptides prescribed by doctors from compounding pharmacies, not some research chemical bullshit. And so if you're interested, code Greg for your discount. Don't forget to watch at least one of the 2 bloops. You don't need to watch both. I would appreciate it. Did you like the video already? And also, if you're interested in being sponsored by Coach Greg, or if you want to be an ambassador, any of these things, or if you want to be coached by myself and my team, or if you want to carry these amazing supplements in your store and or gym, there's a link for that as well. And until next time, je suis parti.